Halloween can also have a scary effect on your mouth and teeth, especially for those who enjoy that candy on this holiday a little bit too much. So how can you celebrate the sweetness of Halloween without wrecking those pearly white teeth? Here are some helpful tips and information. Is Dr. Amira Woodruff from Caring Smiles Family Dentistry in West Bloomfield. Dr. Amira, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, happy to have you on as we get ready for Greater West Bloomfield to celebrate Halloween this evening. A lot of people will partake in eating quite a lot of candy outside the norm of what they normally do. So what are some of the common issues with oral health that maybe aren't directly caused by Halloween, but this holiday may not actually help?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's probably three things: cavities, crowns that are lost, so like pulled off with sticky candy, and broken teeth from hard candy. So like you mentioned, it doesn't always mean it's because of the Halloween day, but a lot of times it's from pre-existing issues that were there that the candy is kind of exposing.
And it often depends on the household. Every different family, every different group maybe will give out a different kind of candy or have that sitting around tonight at a party or in their office. And not all candy is created equal. It does have a different effect depending on what kind and what's the makeup of it. Are there certain types of treats that are worse for your teeth and worse for your mouth than others?
Absolutely. So kind of like I just mentioned, the sticky candy, that is going to be the one that is, to be honest, my favorite, but it's the one to stay away from the most, only because it, like I mentioned, can pull off crowns. It can get stuck in the grooves of your teeth. So even if you're thinking you're doing a good job cleaning everything off, there could be things stuck in the grooves. The best for your teeth is chocolate because it just kind of melts away. And it actually just is one of the candies that doesn't increase the incidence of cavities as much as something like sticky candy.
That's an interesting point, too, because people will enjoy the chocolate and think, oh, I'm having too much of this, it's going to wreck my teeth. And it might in that case, because if you overindulge, anything is bad. But the sticky candy that people may have as a one-off could actually be the worst of all of them. Interesting point. Kids, particular, Dr. Amira, are going to be the ones that are going to flock toward the candy in mass tonight and throughout the weekend. So as parents are helping their kids celebrate the holiday, get into the Halloween spirit, and enjoy the candy they collect in their neighborhood or at Halloween parties, how do they help to manage that to make sure the kids are having their fun, are enjoying their treats, but not going overboard and maybe hurting their oral health?
Right. That's a great question. I would think that one of the things people probably don't think about is that the best thing to do is actually, if you're going to have candy, to have it in a small window. So instead of saying, okay, I'm going to be good and just have one piece a few times a day, that's actually worse for your teeth than having those few pieces all at the same time. So I would recommend doing it after like a meal time. So let's say after dinner, you've already eaten, your mouth is actually in a more acidic state at that time. So that would be the time to just have the candy then anyway. But I know you mentioned that kids are probably the ones that are more likely, but we've already been having a lot of adults coming in these few days before Halloween because they're buying all the candy to give out to kids and they're sampling before Halloween. So we've had a lot of adults in here with candy-related tooth issues this week.
Well, and so they think about all these issues with the stickier candies, with having too much, overindulging, all that sugar you're intaking. They think, oh, I got the solution. I'll go sugar-free. But those sugar-free candies can also have a negative effect on your mouth, too. How do they affect people's oral health different than those that are made with traditional natural sugars?
Yeah, so that's a great question, too, because sugar-free is better in the sense that it's less prone to cause cavities. But the other things I mentioned, like it being sticky, you can still have a very sticky sugar-free candy. And then also you can have a very hard piece of sugar-free candy. So you're still dealing with the pulling out of dental work and the breaking of teeth, especially if you haven't been to the dentist in a while and you have teeth that might not be quite as strong as you might think they are.
Dr. Amira Woodruff is with us from Caring Smiles Family Dentistry in West Bloomfield as we talk about the Halloween holiday and how that might affect your teeth and your mouth. For more helpful advice from Caring Smiles, you can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. Both of those are at Caring Smiles FD. And then you can also follow them on their website too, caringsmilesfd.com. So when these dental problems come up as a result of Halloween, maybe it's on the day of or over the weekend, an issue with some candy or something doesn't feel right, what are some of the common mistakes people make before they end up going to their dentist to get that prudent care?
I would say one thing that most people probably do is if you're trying to be really, really good and you have your candy and then you brush your teeth right afterward, it's actually more harmful to your teeth to brush right after. Instead, you should wait 30 minutes. When you have candy, it makes your mouth in a more susceptible state for cavities and also just a weaker state. It's a more acidic state. So if you're brushing your teeth right away, you can be damaging your enamel. If you wait 30 minutes, it allows your mouth to kind of rebalance, to reneutralize, and then that's a safer time. So that is something that I think most people do not know.
And for those that have braces or other dental appliances, kids and adults alike, should they be taking any extra precautions this Halloween to protect their mouths?
Yeah, it's all the same precautions. It's all the same issues. It's just there's way more in their mouth to break and to have those issues. So just being extra, extra careful. And there's way more places for that candy to hide around the brackets, around the wires. So to be extra careful. But I'm realistic. I'm not telling people to stay away from candy. I'm a sweet tooth dentist. You just have to be smart about it.
And that's why we're having you on. That's why we want to talk about this, because people are going to do it. They're going to participate. They're going to overindulge. It happens. It's Halloween. That's just the reality of the day. And they'll regret it the next day, and then they'll stop. That's how it usually goes. So get this advice out there as soon as we can before they begin this Halloween weekend, especially with it being an entire weekend of celebration ahead in Greater West Bloomfield. Beyond, of course, brushing and flossing, what are some other tips that people can take into account this weekend to maintain their oral health, especially considering they're going to be bringing in a little bit more of that stuff that typically does some damage?
Yeah, I would just say making sure not to fall asleep right after having candy. So for people we always encourage people to brush twice a day, morning and nighttime before bed. But for the people who are only brushing once a day, every single person, it's morning because they want their breath to be fresh. So if you are having candy and going to sleep, that's just going to put your teeth in a much worse situation. So just really getting into the habit of brushing before you go to sleep, not just around Halloween, but every single night.
And it's a good opportunity, too, lastly, Dr. Woodruff, for parents as they celebrate with their kids this weekend or even on Halloween Day specifically, to install some of those good habits into the weekend and maybe sneak it behind the reward of all that candy as well. How can parents use the Halloween weekend as a means to teach their kids some of the basics of dental hygiene?
Well, I think kind of what I mentioned about making sure brushing morning and night and flossing, but then also making sure staying on top of dental appointments. So making that be a fun thing. Well, let's go get your teeth checked out because we know Halloween's coming up, and have it be a fun visit, have it be something they're looking forward to for almost getting that thumbs up for Halloween, or if it's after Halloween, shortly after, but just trying to plant, like you mentioned, some good oral hygiene habits for their life moving forward.
Well, Dr. Woodruff, we appreciate your advice today as people get ready to celebrate Halloween this evening and all throughout the weekend close to home here in Greater West Bloomfield.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.